Hello, YouTube. We are live. Today is August 4th. It is 11 o'clock p.m. Utah time. I am your host, eagleDog. Welcome to the stream. I used auto hotkey to do some of my formatting. I'm wrapping up on the BAM operations manual, which I've got right here. Yup. And before we get started, let's take a brief moment to thank our unofficial non-sponsor of today's live stream, powdered homemade Gatorade. It's just like normal Gatorade, but you can make it even a little bit sweeter, a little bit more potent. Gatorade would never even think about paying me money to advertise their product today, but I'm advertising it anyways. This is my new go-to beverage. Second place is Sprite. And third place is probably Coca-Cola. Alright, well, I'm going to go ahead and just get back into it and finish formatting this document. The BAM operations manual. Oh, here we go. Put a link to the Discord channel, the Bench Evidence Discord channel. That's a channel which I created for evidence relating to Ben Schneider's legal case, but also for other people out there who find themselves in a similar situation of being targeted for police violence, police harassment, police intimidation. And really what it is, it's a place for intellectuals to share information. So far, we've had a really interesting conversation going in the general channel. And it's really covering the history of economics, some of the different prevalent economic theories that have superseded the old-fashioned economic theories of Adam Smith and his contemporaries and his immediate successors. It's already been just a fascinating, interesting, insightful, useful conversation. And there's a lot more to come. Okay, so this is what the document looks like so far. It's coming together quite nicely. There's just a little bit more work to do. And some of you may have noticed that this website right here, BAM Ops Manual, it got taken down. I've just been able to access it because I disconnected my internet connection and just accessed it from RAM. Let's see if it'll still let me do that now that I'm connected to the internet again. I was disconnected all day. It was kind of a weird feeling. Okay, so it's still letting me access just the stuff that's stored in RAM right now. Oh, there's one, see? Unavailable for legal reasons. This website is unavailable for legal reasons. Please see this website for more details. I'll see that website for more details in a little bit, but for right now, I want to keep access to what I got here. Now, unfortunately, yeah, okay. The ones that I did not have loaded in RAM are Chapter 3, Chapter 4, and like, I think chapter 12A or something. So some of these sections I'm going to have to wing it. And that's all I've really got left for the formatting today. Let's take a quick look at the print preview and see how the headers and footers are looking. See how the page numbers are showing up there nice and pretty. Oh wait, one of the page numbers is bold, but the other 3 are not. I'm going to make all 4 of those bold. Also, I'm going to space out the wording here, BAM Operations Manual. Okay, so first I want to make this bold, this bold, this bold, and this one is already bold. Very good. Next, what I want to do is I want to take this word here, and how is it that I do this? Like that. Get into the character formatting. This can also be accessed here in LibreOffice Writer by doing a right click, character, and then the top option there where it says character, and you'll see it shows me my keyboard shortcut for that is Alt-Shift-F. That's one that I set up personally, but even if you modify your keyboard shortcuts, it'll show you what those shortcuts are. So this is the character formatting, not the paragraph formatting. And it's actually in position, character spacing here. Do you see in the preview how it's spacing that out? How big do we want it, like that? Maybe a little bigger. That looks pretty good. That was 5. Nice. Even better. Cool. Alright, so next what we'll do, scoot this over since we don't have any chat right now. I want my paragraph marks. Control F10 activates those, or formatting marks. And I'll just go through from the top, and I'll kind of read it a little bit as I go. This is one part I had not read yet. The opening page, it says, "This training manual is intended for franchise owners only and is not to be shared with employees or anyone outside of the company. Failure to do so will be considered a breach of our confidentiality contract and appropriate penalties will apply." Failure to do so with reference to this training manual is intended for franchise owners only and is not to be shared with employees or anyone outside of the company. So I think actually if we take the words literally, failure to do so means failure to share the document with employees or anyone outside of the company. They misworded that. That's not properly worded. What they should say is failure to adhere to this mandate, or they should say failure to keep this document confidential, or something like that will be considered a breach of our confidentiality contract. But instead what they've said is failure to do so. That's not appropriately worded. However, The meaning, I think, is clear, so we don't have to be too anal about that, but I always notice those kinds of things. Failure to abide by all policies and specific guidelines and directives outlined herein or incorporated by reference shall constitute a breach of the franchise agreement. See your specific franchise agreement for specific sections. So they're saying you have to obey all the directives outlined here in the franchisee training and operations manual. Introduction, who we are, our history. This is the really interesting part. This is the only formatting that I've really changed. There are a couple of minor things that I did a little bit different, but I just put these words in bold because this is my main takeaway from this document. Purpose. The 3 R's: rebuild, reuse, reimagine. Got my bullet points nicely formatted. I actually have a little bit of extra formatting I'm going to apply to the bullet points as I go. Here's what it looks like without the paragraph marks. BAM core principle. Our core principle is to exceed customer expectations with every store experience they have, whether in the store, over the phone, or out in the community. We accomplish this by providing exceptional products, displays, and customer service. To exceed customer expectations. That's their core principle, is to exceed customer expectations with every store experience they have, whether in the store, over the phone, or out in the community. This is an unclear principle. This is not a simple, easy to understand principle. This is what's called word salad. So our core principle is to we accomplish this by providing exceptional products, displays, and customer service. That makes sense. The goal is for customers to have such positive experiences that they just have to tell others. As they leave the store, you want the customer thinking, I can't wait to come back, or I can't believe I found this, or I can't wait to tell my friends about this. If the customer says or thinks these things, we have done our work and accomplished our goal. So as a paragraph that works, but just that first sentence is pretty, it's not very clear. When Bricks and Minifigs puts its name on something, it's telling people that they're going to experience the very best the store has to offer every time. Bricks and Minifigs. Mission: bring joy and creativity to the world through all things Lego, past, present, and future. Vision: joy and creativity for all through the magic of Lego and related products. It's kind of redundant. Values: exciting and engaging experiences, family-friendly atmosphere of fun quality products, great service, reasonable prices, inclusive, caring, courteous, clean, organized, and politeness for all. Share the love of Lego, collaborative, hard-working team members. There's a problem with the construction of this sentence. It goes from friendly atmosphere of fun quality products, great service, reasonable prices, but then it switches from nouns to adjectives: inclusive, caring, courteous, clean, organized, and then it goes back to a noun: and politeness for all. Now, this is a call out box, so they don't necessarily need to have a period here at the end of that phrase because it might have originally been formatted slightly differently. In fact, I'll go ahead and add that. Do it like that. Let's see. No, we want it to be as part of the values. I'll just leave it as it is. I don't know. That's more like a, you know what it reminds me of is the Scout. Is it the Scout Oath or the Scout Motto? A scout is trustworthy, loyal. Let's see, trustworthy, loyal, brave, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. No, I missed one because I got brave twice. The scout is trustworthy, loyal, friendly, helpful, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. A scout is trustworthy, loyal, friendly, helpful, friendly. No. So close. Let's see. What is the scout oath? On my honor, I will do my best to do my duty to God and my country, to help other people at all times, to keep myself physically strong, mentally awake, and morally straight. That's not it. What is the scout promise? I think scout promise is the same as a scout oath. That's not it. Scout motto, maybe. Be prepared. Now that's a clear message. That's the scout motto. Be prepared. That's a good motto. That's very simple. Motto. There we go. Scout is, that's what we'll say. A scout is trustworthy. Scout is trustworthy, loyal. Just do it like that. A scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. These are the 12 principles that define the scout law. So that's what it is. Gosh. You'd think it would just list it. Well, anyway, that's what it is. It's the scout law. A scout is trustworthy, loyal, helpful, friendly, courteous, kind, obedient, cheerful, thrifty, brave, clean, and reverent. These are the principles that I live by. Family-friendly atmosphere of fun, exciting and engaging experiences, family-friendly atmosphere of fun, quality products, great service, reasonable prices, inclusive, caring, courteousness, clean, organized, and politeness for all. Man, they're mixing up nouns, adjectives, nouns and adjectives, nouns and adjectives. They should stick with either nouns or adjectives. The scout law, it's all adjectives. We treat all customers as friends. Oh, hello. We have a visitor. What, they made an honor manual? Yeah, pretty much. Denitius. Welcome to the chat. They have dyslexia. Yeah, there's not as many typos here in this document as there are in the franchise disclosure document, but look at, here's another one. What does our brand stand for at its core? That should be, that apostrophe doesn't belong there. So one would hope that they would put a little more time and attention into these things, but I think this is pretty standard to have little typos and improper sentence construction sometimes in a document like this. But we're glad to be nitpicky because these guys have made themselves into enemies of the people. Always remember, retail is a game of imperfection. Having a plan is vital, but it will never work out the way you have planned. What's crazy is that they had these documents shared through Google Docs. Really? I didn't know that. We got another visitor. Hey, Eagle. Dog sending so many positive energies. Thank you. Thank you, JC Cat. Appreciate that. Thanks for popping in and saying hello. Uh, Demedius, I did not know that. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that right. Demedius. It's a nice Greek sounding name. I'm gonna say Demedius. Um, I did not know that they had this on Google Docs. So no wonder people were able to get their hands on it. I mentioned the other day that here in this paragraph, there will be times when staff call in sick, a huge collection walks out the door, or alarms literally go off and need to be handled, etc., etc. If you can maintain flexibility, you can succeed in retail. Flexibility rules. This part right here, you must triage your day as it happens. So they're talking about emergencies, emergencies, emergencies. And really the way we want to be like Stephen Covey, 7 Habits of Effective People, we want to, instead of triaging our day, we want to reprioritize our day as we go. Demoteus. 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 Great. Demoteus. Thank you. It's very helpful. So when they say you must triage your day, that word triage calls to mind soldiers missing limbs and bleeding all over the field and major emergencies, crisis mode. To be an effective business administrator, or really at anything we do, we want to get out of that reactive mindset and get into the analytical mindset. So while I go, one of the things I like to do, and you guys can chime in if you already know all this stuff, if you don't want to hear about this, that's cool, but I do show how I make my formatting, and I did a lot of this the other day, and then today, since as you guys have probably heard, this thing here, the BAM Maps or BAMOpsManual.com, mosquito. Oh, missed it. BAMAppsManual.com got taken down. Let's see if I can show you. Here. Unavailable for legal reasons. This website is unavailable for legal reasons. So the ops manual got taken down, but not before I got all of the text. LOL, they stole their management manual from GameStop. I actually wonder if they plagiarized some of the manual. I can't say that I have any proof of that, but there's some sections in here that I wonder if they kind of copied it from someone else. Surprised it got taken down. Me too, because at least from what I heard, they did not receive a takedown notice from a lawyer. They received a takedown notice, just an email from BAM. I wonder if BAM found out the host of the website and told the host to take it down. That might be what happened here. But we've got the information, and now it's all formatted to make it easy to read. I put it into columns. Just like the way they use columns in newspapers, the reason they do that is because it's easier to read faster, because your eye doesn't have to go across the page as far. And so what I did for the formatting, like wherever there's a figure, I'll just show you one of them here. So I used the paragraph styles, and if it was default paragraph style, it would be like that, and I can just switch the paragraph style and it puts the box around it. EB Games, GameStop, Game Over Video Games are all the same management style. That makes sense. And I guess pawn shops are a little bit different. I've never seen like a pawn shop franchise, national pawn shop franchise. Hey, maybe that's a business idea. Start a pawn shop franchise. I would never, I guess I shouldn't say would never, but I think I would have a lot of difficulty in that field. I'm what's called a people pleaser, so I want to make people happy, and ripping people off is not my specialty. Or, you know, giving people less than what they feel is a fair value for their items, for their trade-in items. I'm sure I could be trained to do that. I'm not really a natural salesman, but I learned a lot about sales in my life, and I was quite successful in the capacity that I was in. But not my cup of tea. Danateus got blocked from Top Dollar Pawn for making pawn shop videos. Ah, uh, Demeteus is an investigator. That's cool. That's awesome. What up? Hey, Tom Poco. Welcome back. Good to see you again. Yeah, we're doing some formatting. I've done most of my formatting already. Everything that I was able to go in and compare it to the source, I went in and did it. Even these tables I copied. But now that site got taken down, there's just a couple of chapters here that I did not format yet. So I'll be going through and formatting those today. I was having troubles with these bullet points, and I will go through and show you guys how I resolved my bullet point problems. I tried a lot of different things with the paragraph styles and with like the bullet formatting, which is if I go in to the bullet points, if I make these bullet points and then I do the drop down and say more bullets, then I can go in and adjust the position. That got me part of the way there, but I wanted to make it fast. I got unblocked when Cash America Pawn bought them. I had a district manager try to steal my layaways and take my money. Just like the guy, I'm sure you saw this video, a teenager went in and made a video with meta glasses or spy glasses of some type, and was just checking out kind of what he could get for a collection, going to a few different bricks and minifig stores, and one of them tried to steal his rare gold-plated C-3PO that's worth like $800 or something. I really hate formatting. Well, Denateus, you are in the right place, because I'm going to make it look real easy. Watch what I'm going to do. Let's see. I'm going to go activate this program right here. Okay, now watch what happens. Oh yeah, that. Okay, so I select my stuff and then watch this. Just like that. Like a dream. Yeah, they tried. Well, no, he just kept the C-3PO and gave the kid everything else back, and he just had it on his desk. And then when the kid came back in and asked about it, the guy was like, "Oh yeah, oh here it is. That thing's fake, by the way," and it wasn't fake. So the Denateus, as far as the formatting, the main thing that I do is I use the paragraph styles. These are all paragraph styles that I created myself. Rather than selecting stuff and making it bold and making it italic and everything, most of that I do over here in the paragraph styles. So then I can go back through and do it fast. Hey Keister Bunny, good to see you again. Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the chat. Now there's one last thing I want to add here to the process, which is that I also want to add this bullets paragraph style that, if you saw it, just got them a little bit closer together. Let me see if there's a way that I can think of to add that to my... I'm going to have to think about that to figure out a way to automate that. But what I did, you guys, to get it to do all that is, first I recorded a macro, and that got me halfway there. I recorded a macro which I can activate, and it would bring me into this menu, but I still needed to come over to position and make all these changes to the spacing. And so then what I did is I used auto hotkey to actually go in and automatically go in and type in all those numbers for me, so that I just press a button and there it goes. I'm pretty happy with that. Somebody on Reddit had that solution where someone was asking, like, how can I go in and actually within a dialog box like this actually go in and change things within the dialog box, because there's not an easy way. There might be a hard way, but there's no easy way to do that with the macros. The macros that are accessible in tools, macros, I'll just go to edit macros and show you what I got. So most of this stuff, I don't program it, I just record it. But the one that align bullets, yeah, I just recorded that. I didn't mess with any of this stuff. Sometimes I'll go in and see if I can like change a couple of numbers in there or get more sophisticated if I need to. But the simpler solutions are often the most sophisticated solutions. Okay, so here in chapter 3, I don't have the I don't have the reference. I don't have anything to reference here in the actual source document. I don't have chapter 3 in my RAM. I was able to just keep open a few of these different chapters that I just had stored in RAM, so I was able to go in and still copy the formatting. But right now I'm just getting to the sections that I didn't have like that. Here I'm going to show you guys another formatting trick. So these headings, I've created a paragraph style for them, and then what I do is I go to Tools, Customize, and then I choose whichever key I want to be my shortcut key, and then I assign it to a style. I can do it for a character style, but mostly I do paragraph styles, and then select which paragraph style I want to apply to there, and then I hit modify, and then I say okay. So this one is the wrong style. Since it's not 3.1, it's 3.1.2, it's 3.1.2. I want it to be small like this one, not big like this one. So I have a keyboard shortcut, and just like that, look how fast it formatted it. So it does make formatting a lot quicker. That's useful. Yeah, and my previous live stream, I covered that in a little more detail. Denateus. How much have I read? That's all I've done in my life. I just read and read and read and read and read. I've read lots. I'm a well-read individual. But I haven't read everything. And also I used to teach corporate training. And so I already knew a lot of this stuff, but I learned a lot more of it by going out and teaching people how to use it was Microsoft Word I was teaching, not this is LibreOffice Writer or LibreWriter. But by going out and teaching these concepts, then I got even better at it. And I got better at reading too, actually, because I had to essentially memorize these training manuals in a very short amount of time. I would take the entire document and give it to Gemini or Grok and ask it to point out the illegal business practices. Yeah, well, you're going to be able to do that because I'm going to upload this thing. And first I'm going to upload it to my Discord server. The actual link for the Discord server is just at the very top of the chat. I forgot to include it in the video description. I used to be a product trainer for call center agents. And Keister Bunny is learning as we go. Cool. Control F10 to activate the paragraph symbols, the formatting symbols. That just helps me to see when I've got an unwanted space. I primarily use it to find unwanted carriage returns. Sometimes it's useful for finding, like, if there's a double space somewhere, because if you see, there's little dots for the spaces as well. But then sometimes it gets like you want to turn it off to see what everything looks like. So it's nice to know the keyboard shortcut. It's so interesting, Denateus. this channel brings in really, really smart people, really curious people, intellectual people, polite people, and it's just so weird that I keep finding all these parallels between myself and the people that I've been talking to, that I've met here through this YouTube channel. I never was a big fan of the algorithm, but now I'm starting to appreciate the algorithm. The the other people you'll meet here in the chat are also probably have, it's just amazing how many parallels I've already found with the different people that I've met. And so right away I get the sense that you're just with doing any kind of corporate training, any kind of training at all, it really levels up a person's communication skills, and like, it's really hard, it's really stressful, it's intense, but it challenges the brain, and it makes you stronger, it makes a person stronger. If you were doing product training for call center agents, then you probably met a lot of interesting people. You probably learned a lot of detailed facts about, I assume the product was probably a software product, or although it might have been the product that you guys were selling. But whatever the product was and whatever you were doing with the training, I'm sure you learned all kinds of details way beyond what they were just way beyond what you knew just like within the first month that you were there. Thousands. Let's see. SBC, AT&T, Sprint, Nextel, Yahoo. We had HP and Compaq. Yeah, and those were all different products. So you just learned all kinds of information. When I was in college, I sold cars just because I wanted to get sales experience. Look how quick I formatted that whole line. That's a shortcut that I created myself, F5. But every time I'm formatting one of these documents, I change all those F1, F2, F3, F4, F5. There's a couple of them that I don't mess with, but most of them I don't mind overwriting, and some of them are not available to change for some reason. Dial-up, high-speed internet, Uverse. I came there with a tech background and had my MCSE. I'm not sure what MCSE is. I'm sight impaired, so the user menus are altered a bit for my disability. I use voice commands to access certain menus, and then touch screen trackpad for the rest. Keister Bunny, thanks for sharing that. So the call phone sales and product info were easy. Yeah, that's like, okay, so yeah, the call phone, the cell phone sales and product info, after you learned all of that stuff, were that was cake. I'd be interested to know what MCSE is. Deneteus. Keister Bunny, I did a training at the Ogden School for the sight impaired, and it was training on vector graphics, and that really opened my eyes a lot. I try to use accessibility features primarily to have like the computer read websites to me, and I've not had total success with that, but the one that the best one that I found was just the Microsoft Edge has like a built-in tool to read web pages. It sounds like Keister Bunny, you probably have special software that I don't personally have access to. It'd be, and also one of the people that I met there used the high contrast screen. It helped a lot. She had only peripheral vision. She didn't have like the vision right in front of her. But by using the high contrast screen, that helped her, I guess. And I'm really interested in accessibility tools. My feeling is that the built-in accessibility tools on the browsers and on the PDF, like Adobe PDF software, and on built into the cell phones and everything, I feel like they could be better. Um, but I'm really interested to know. You'd have a lot more insight on that. It. I hope some of this stuff is applicable. Um, I think it would all take a little bit longer using the voice commands. Probably you just have to kind of figure out which menus to access and where and how. If you're using Microsoft Word, you've got the ribbon up there. And I'll tell you, on Microsoft Word, there's a really easy way to make shortcuts. I don't have Word installed on this computer, but I'll just tell you about it here real quick. Let's see. So what it is anything that you want to turn into a keyboard shortcut, you right click on it, and then there'll be an option there that'll say add to quick access toolbar. That'll throw it up to the very top left corner, and then it'll become just Alt 1, Alt 2, Alt 3, Alt 4 would be the keyboard shortcuts for any of those things you add to the quick access toolbar up at the top of the ribbon. So I don't know how relevant that is for you guys. And it also depends if you're using the online version of Microsoft Word, it doesn't have as much features, but if you're using like just kind of the normal standard version. Microsoft Certified Systems Engineer. So that's I think they call it admin sys. I think they call that kind of body of knowledge, and that's where you really know, especially about like the hardware and how to set up a server, like a rack of servers, and uh, plug cables into the back and everything. I have a sight impaired friend from high school that worked at the call center, and he has multiple PhDs. I can't remember the software name, but he could get around pretty quick with a headset. Okay, yeah. So once you know how to do it, then it's second nature. I'm still learning the voice reading software. None of it is very good. That's been my experience. I don't have peripheral, only central in one eye. I'm adapting using touch with Word. Okay, so well, I don't remember for sure if the woman that I met, if it was that I think it was that she only had peripheral, but it might have been the other way. But that's good that touch with Word is working for you. Um, the the micro for some reason, and Microsoft has always had the mediocre browser, but then when they came out with Edge has been the best at reading web pages for me. It's been way better than anything else that I've found. It was actually pretty decent, but this computer is old and it kind of stopped working for me. By the way, guys, the main reason I'm actually here is to talk to you guys. And I kind of keep going through and doing this formatting while we're talking, because it's also something neat, and this is meaningful because I'm going to upload this and make it available to everybody. I'll turn it into a PDF. I'll upload it to the Discord server first, and then I'll eventually link the PDF like in video descriptions. I also want to make the actual like Word documents, or in this case LibreOffice documents, available. And I've been making legal documents available to people. All this formatting stuff that I'm doing it to make the information available and the documents available to people. There's another one. And another one. You guys probably know about this, but when I'm cruising around making editing changes, I mostly hold down the control key, let go of it, hold it down, and then use the arrows at the same time. And by holding down the control key while I'm using the arrows, I can jump an entire paragraph at a time. Or if I'm going through and editing within sentences, see, I'll zoom in a little for you. So if I'm going through and editing sentences, I hold down control, then the cursor will jump around. I can also hold down control and shift at the same time, and so I can select entire words at a time. It's a very useful thing to know about. Oh, here's a random one. I don't know if you guys know about this one. This is on PC only, not on Mac, not on the Apple products. But there's the way that I do this, where I zoom in, which I think is helpful for the live streams, and I used this trick for when I would be presenting stuff to groups. This is actually pretty easy to access. So all you do is you hold down Windows and then you press plus or minus, which is actually equals or minus, but just those two keys that are up at the top right. So if I just hold down Windows and press plus, then it zooms in, and then I can adjust the zoom by doing Windows plus and minus, and then I do Windows escape to get out of there. Have you tried Notebook LM? Yes. LM yet? No, I've not heard of Notebook LM. I'm not up on technology, nothing new. I know a lot of skills, but I'm not on the bleeding edge of the newest software, or I don't even know what Notebook LM is. I'm getting better every day. It just takes time and persistence. Appreciate your understanding with it. Oh yeah, I appreciate you sharing that, kind of personal information. Um, I'm here to connect with people. I've been very alone and kind of felt like I would never find people in the world who would understand me. And then I've just been surprised recently, and really it's been because not only because of, but I really appreciate Reckless Ben, Ben Schneider, for standing up for some people, and he's kind of been able to bring people together who are more patient, more understanding, more truth seekers. I would say truth seekers. It seems that the world is divided between bullies and truth seekers. And I'm learning so much about bullies because all of this new research has come out. It's not really new research, but the research has finally reached the public. And what the psychologists call it is narcissism, or narcissistic behaviors. And a lot of that research has informed the way I'm seeing things now. There's so many, or trolls would be another word. Trolls and bullies. There's so many trolls and bullies out there. And then I just thought I was always going to get trolled no matter what I do. And they still pop up like dandelions, but I've finally found a community where people are not just looking to make rude comments, but looking to be helpful and looking to be supportive. Notebook LM is like a file cabinet for documents that you feed into Gemini. So with AI, what I've done is, because they're trying to put a data center right on the shore of the Great Salt Lake here in Utah, and I've tried to limit my AI use recently. I switched over to DuckDuckGo and deactivated AI, but then I ended up reactivating it because it was taking me so long to find stuff. I didn't realize what a game changer AI has been. Like, yeah, I knew, like, I experienced the change. I was like, wow, this is really awesome. But then I stopped using it, and then I was like, oh my gosh, wow. It's like going back from a smartphone, going back to an old Nokia flip phone. American Fork has 5 lawsuits beside Ben's, but not as much documented in real time. Ooh. Let's see what else we got here. The problem I have with Ben is won't go after the police there when there are multiple cases like his with not as much evidence that are in the court currently. I'm pretty sure he will go after him. Um, I think he's taking his time. He's got plenty of time to file that civil lawsuit. And also, so the civil rights lawsuits normally don't begin until after the criminal charges have been beat. If you watch the civil rights lawyer, he reiterates that point a lot in his channel. And I don't really love all of the lawyers on YouTube, but I like a lot of them. But the civil rights lawyer is, in my opinion, one of the best. I do not like America's Attorney. I don't like his attitude. The thing that I really dislike is that he says, get a lawyer, get a lawyer, get a lawyer. You should get a lawyer. Why didn't you get a lawyer? And I'm like, well, some of us can't afford a lawyer. And then there's a lawyer I really like is Mark Breyer of the husband and wife legal team. And I think he's awesome. And he'll actually go through and he'll actually make comments about that. And he'll be reacting to some of America's attorneys' comments, and he'll make the same point that I just made, that people can't necessarily afford a lawyer. But I believe that Ben will go after American Fork eventually. But yeah, what he's said publicly is that he doesn't want to harm the taxpayers. But then he made a little caveat. He said, but maybe what I'll do is that if I win a lawsuit against American Fork, then I'll do something for the community there. I watched the podcast he was on, and the one guy that was a cop told him the money doesn't come from the city. Yeah, but from their insurance, right? So exactly, and that's true. You don't really need a lawyer to file anything. It costs nothing. Yeah, but it's so hard. I mean, I've got 4 criminal cases right now. I spent the last 6.5 months fighting tooth and nail, and I finally got one of them dismissed a few days ago, and then I just got a second one dismissed yesterday. But it has been, for me, it's been brutal. It's been so stressful. I'm working on an AI divorce channel. Oh, cool. So I'm going to show you guys real quick the kind of legal documents that I've used so far in this process. Let's see here. For comparison, Denateus, to your AI divorce channel. As I say, I've been not using AI. I really haven't gotten into it too much. I started out, I did some creative writing with ChatGPT 3.5. That was so much fun. But I will get back into it. I'm just kind of going slow right now because of this data center stuff. If you use AI, you can manage all the cases without needing to be knee deep in documents. That's why I mentioned Notebook LM. I'm glad I did this stream tonight, Denateus. I will be trying to pick your brain and get useful tips. I don't know if you're on Discord, but it'd be cool if you want to join the Discord server, linked in the top of the chat. If not, totally cool, up to you. Let's see here. Okay, so here. Let's see. What is it? No. There we go. And I have a PDF version of this one as well, but here's the non-AI way that I set it up. So the main thing, actually, it turns out that we citizens, the only main thing that we really need to be able to learn how to do is to just set up this box like this, where it says the state of Utah versus Matthew Patrick Lemon in this case, and then complaint, and in this case it was rule violations with regard to Mr. Nicholas Mills, the prosecutor, case number, and the judge's name. But it took me like a month and a half to figure out that this is what I even needed to figure out how to do. Once I figured out how to make one of these things, and then it's also pretty difficult to go through and write the complaint. This one I spent a ton of time on. Now I'm getting a little faster at these. But once I submitted this written complaint to the court and the prosecutor realized that I was putting him on notice and that I accurately stated all the facts of what had actually happened, boy, the next time I saw that guy, his tune had completely changed. He was ready to listen. He was ready to share information. Oh, it changed everything. You might not know this, but you don't need all the graphics. Yeah, you mean like the box? I made the box fancy because I wanted it to look cool. Like, let me see if I can show how. Maybe in PDF. Let's see if I can find the PDF here. Yeah, here. So it looks like it's got a shadow on the bottom right. So I spent a bunch of time to make it look like that, but that's totally unnecessary. But you're saying I don't even need a line in the middle? They don't like it when you can file documents. The judge was getting frustrated with me. Yeah, it changed everything. Keister Bunny says, I'm so proud of what you have accomplished with the court so far. I know it is a lot. Thank you. Yeah, it has been devastatingly difficult. And I just decided I wouldn't give up. And I just kept trying and kept fighting. And it was so stressful. For almost all of my court appearances, I've been awake the entire night before. There was no way I was going to be able to sleep anyway, and I was organizing my documents and getting ready. You guys might have seen me show this before, but I don't have them with me. I'll show you some other time. But I got my big notebook of the court rules, the court statutes, or the court rules, statutes, and policies. I've been formatting and a lot of what I was doing too during the first month, before I figured out how to submit this written complaint, or also just written motions, request for a hearing, all kinds of just the things that you have to submit in writing. Before I figured this out, I was formatting the court rules, I was formatting a bunch of statutes, state statutes, but I especially focused on the court rules. And in the process of formatting them, I gained a lot of familiarity with them. I printed them, I went through and highlighted them, I went through and studied them. So I've learned a lot in the process. ChatGPT is broken though. It's like having a coworker with Alzheimer's. That was my experience. That was what was so fun about the creative writing. It would come out of nowhere with something that it was like it would create a new character, but it wouldn't introduce the character. The character would just pop into the scene. And it's still doing that. That's what I figured out. So I've been using DuckDuckGo, and DuckDuckGo uses ChatGPT, and it's not very good. It's not nearly as good as the Google AI assistant. Which is why it's always wrong or off or hallucinating. It's a function of the tier on when you pay for it versus free chat. Yeah, but even still, like DuckDuckGo says it's using version like 5.4 or something. It's still pretty mediocre. Not all. There's a template. Let's see. There's a template that the entire state uses, and it's like that for the entire country. Not all. I could not sleep for shit, and I wasted so many printouts. Okay, so you've been through some of this. Okay. What I did was get the state's formatting rules and find previously filed documents to use as examples by asking Gemini. Okay. Um, okay, um, that's nice to hear that you went through you went on a different path, but you had a similar journey, and I went on a different path. I don't think I'm quite as far up that path. I've been going maybe a slower route, doing it myself. But we both printed out a bunch of pages. I have a lot of my documents. They're printed on both sides, not because I was printing on both sides, but because I was like, well, I'll just reuse this and I'll just use the other side of it. Um, and I have like uh, discarded draft papers all over the place. On this one, I didn't even set up the numbering. I was going through and manually just making the numbers myself. But then for the next one, I got the numbering set up. So, um, Deniteus, I don't know if you know about a Discord server called. I don't have Discord on this computer, or I'd show you. It stopped working. This computer's kind of pretty significantly old, but let me see. Where's the iPad? I'm just gonna look it up just to tell you about it. Cameron Wilson, Hood River. I don't know if that rings a bell to you. There's a guy named Cameron Wilson who is defending himself pro se and filing a civil action against Hood River in Washington. This guy Cameron Wilson, he has a Discord server. It's full of people and it's super active, and they're all like right. Well, not all. A good portion of them are like right on the edge of being sovereign citizens, which I do not consider myself a sovereign citizen. But some of them are maybe over the line a little bit, but a lot of them are over here. They have what they call right to travel, and I'm not really clear on exactly why right to travel is such a big deal to these guys, but um, regardless, they are just all bringing in just different legal documents. They're sharing different legal strategies. They're sharing different. They're citing the American Jurisprudence Manual and Black's Law Dictionary, stuff I've never heard of, and that it's I can't keep up with them. There's like so much information on there, but I try to absorb information from there. But I don't know if you've heard about those guys at all. They have all the templates. Okay, so I think what you're saying is, yeah, you've heard of them. Oh no, you're talking about Rocket Lawyer. So Rocket Lawyer has all the templates. Tom Poco says, "Do you FW any other RTS games?" I'm not sure what FW is, but my favorite RTS game is Warcraft 2, and it's the only one I'm any good at, which I'm not good at it compared to the guys on the server. But I've played. Is it StarCraft 2? I think there's another one. Yeah, I've played StarCraft 2, and there's another one that came out before StarCraft 2 that was pretty popular that I've played. And I just get destroyed on those ones. Oh, Age of Empires 2 is cool also. If there's any other RTS game that I'm going to continue playing and be interested in the future, it's Age of Empires 2, because Triquad also plays Age of Empires 2. I did a Warcraft 2 stream the other day, guys. That's why Tom Poco's asking about that. There's actually a really neat game called Territorial. I'll just show you right here. It's pretty interesting. It's kind of like almost like an evolution simulator. Oh, by the way, anyone who was here last time, I looked up what a call out box is called, and it turns out I was right. It's called a call out box. When there's some text that kind of stands out, it's in a box, it's a little bit bigger in a document. There's also some other words for it. Sidebar is another word for it. Or breakout box, sidebar, or call out. I'm going to leave this open so I can study those vocabularies, not forget them. Okay, territorial.io. This game is crazy. It goes really fast. I'll just say I'm ready. I'll just play whatever game is going here. I'll just show you. It's a fast game. This is kind of like RTS, but it's a weird one. Illusion of Gaia. I don't know what that is, but that sounds cool. Blacks is good stuff, but the rules of civil procedure you really need. Rules of civil procedure, for me, rules of criminal procedure, rules of civil procedure, and then there's another one, at least here in Utah. What team am I on? What color am I? Oh, I think I'm purple. Where are my guys? So then you have to like expand your territory, and it's really weird to figure out how you do it. But then there will be other guys expanding their territory. I'm not used to this interface. I've been playing it on an iPad. So then, anyway, I'm going to lose anyway, but you can see these other teams are also expanding their territories. And then once you fill up a space and they fill up a space, then you start attacking each other. And it all has to do with your population and like how many soldiers you have available. Anyway, this is an interesting one. I'm not used to playing it on a... Oh, here we go, like that. There we go. I'm not used to playing it on a PC, but I'm just going to quit. I just wanted to show you guys real fast. This is kind of like an experimental real-time strategy game. But that's one that I've played. Me and my brothers play that sometimes. Let's see what else we got here. Yeah, I don't know what Illusion of Gaia is, but that territorial game kind of seems... Gaia certainly seems like a relevant word. It feels like an evolution simulator. Just trying to make sure I didn't miss any chats here. Here we go. I won a case against PayPal in March. Nice. So you're starting to see results. By the way, Denateus, did you see... have you seen that? Do you know about that guy, Cameron Wilson, Hood River? I'm curious if you know about those guys. It's called Power... What does he call it? Power present in the people. Here, I'm going to look it up real fast here. Power inherent in the people. That's what he's called. That's his YouTube channel. Yeah, I stay clear of them guys. The cops shot one down the road from me over a tail light on FM 1960. Stay clear of the right to travel guys, or the sovereign citizens, or both. A Super Nintendo game about evolution. Oh, that sounds great. Illusion of Gaia. Wow. I'm all into evolution simulators. Anything that's like an evolution simulator, I'm pretty much interested in it. Never heard of him. I've been fighting cases since the 90s. Oh, wow. I just started. All this started for me on December 22nd. Yeah, both. Okay, so you've heard of right to travel. I'm just learning about all this stuff. I'm new to this. I'm definitely going to try to find out about the Illusion of Gaia, though. Here's what I do for learning things is I open a tab, punch it in, and then I go back and check it out later. Speeding tickets. Right. So I actually did try to fight one speeding ticket in like 2002. and it like I got blown out of the water. I didn't stand a chance. But it was a learning experience, and at the time I was like, that's stupid, I shouldn't have fought that. But then now when all this stuff came up, now I have a little bit of experience, a little bit of reference. Most people don't know we don't have to go to court to file anything these days. It's all via e-file. Okay, I'm still figuring that out. Here locally, at the local Utah courts, they'll file it if I email it to them, and I found that out by talking to the clerks and asking them. So there's like also there's a system here in Utah. It's called like My Case is what it's called. And for My Case, you have to sign up to My Case, but then if you do that, you're they're not going to mail things to you. All the documents are just going to be through My Case. And so I'm not ready to make that commitment because I don't want to miss something. Like I'm kind of taking things one step at a time. But apparently if I get into My Case, then I'll be able to view the docket and view like I guess there are filings on the docket. So far I have not really figured out how to get access to the docket here. And for other viewers, the docket means I think it's a list of filings. It's or a list of documents they just come in sequential order, chronological order, and then you can go back in and check them out. Every state has their own e-file system. Always fight speeding tickets. That's good advice. It's actually a few different companies. I don't use mail because the court system has auto notifications via mail. Okay, I'll have to figure out locally how they do it. This manual is really funny. You can log in and see all of the documents filed on your case and modify them. That's the sense that I get with what they call My Case here in Utah. The verbiage is interesting. Like if you make a mistake, you can just upload it. Sounds like I'll want to try that out soon. Tom Poco, I think you're talking about the BAM operations manual. Yeah, it's because I think at least one thing that I've been picking up as I've been going through here is that it's like passive aggressive, I think I would say. Like they're like, we want to be so friendly, we want to be so helpful, and then they're like, if you don't obey this, your franchise will be surrendered to us immediately. Let's just see this part that I'm on right now. The marketing team will be playing a passive role as they focus on producing marketing content for the franchise. If you have any questions, you will start with the support team. Let's see, make this easier to read. There we go. If you have any questions, you will start with the support team, and anything they can't answer, you will refer up to our marketing team, where you can set up a meeting, go over your questions, or answer what they can over Slack. Another resource of theirs is the marketing approvals, where you send any marketing materials you plan to implement with your store. That might be an example of a little bit of awkward wording, awkward verbiage. Another resource of theirs is the marketing approvals, where you send any marketing materials you plan to implement with your store. One thing I'll say that is very common with Ammon McNeff, Matt McNeff, and this organization, the Bricks and Minifigs organization, is a concept called word salad. Now, I did not invent that phrase, and I did not used to know that phrase. I learned that phrase from the behavior panel. I don't know if you guys know about the behavior panel. I'm going to put it here in my notes. Let me do something else here to make this a little easier to see. That's better. So it's just a YouTube channel called the Behavior Panel. Behavior Panel. And it includes 4 guys named Scott Rouse, Greg Hartley, Mark Bowden, and Chase Hughes. 3 out of these 4 guys are experienced law enforcement interrogators. 2 of them were military interrogators, and 1 of them was a police interrogator. And which is Scott Rouse. And Scott Rouse, in addition to being a police interrogator, was also a professional studio musician, and he recorded on some big kind of like techno pop hits of the 90s. That guy Scott Rouse, he started the group. Scott Rouse did a behavior profile on Ammon McNeff, but it was just a short one. I was hoping he was going to get it onto the panel and do a big one. But those guys talk quite a bit about narcissism and sociopathy, sociopaths and psychopaths, because a lot of what they cover are police interrogations of murderers. So it's pretty, some of their episodes are pretty gruesome, other ones less so. But so here's just a couple of quick takeaways from those guys. Every sociopath or every psychopath is a narcissist, but not every narcissist is a psychopath. The difference between a sociopath and a psychopath is a psychopath, that's the way they are, that's the way they've been since they were a kid, or since maybe teenage, since before adolescence, or since adolescence, we'll say. Whereas a sociopath learns psychopathic behavior from a psychopath. Those are not strict definitions, those are ways of thinking about it. But so anyway, and then a narcissist, well, someone with narcissistic personality disorder, that's a small percentage of the population, maybe 10% or something. Or maybe less than that, I don't remember, 8% or something. But everyone has narcissistic behavior traits. Everyone is a narcissist to some degree, but the people who have properly followed the teachings of Jesus or the teachings of Buddha or the teachings of Islam, or if they're not religious, who have properly followed the teachings of Nietzsche or the teachings of Kierkegaard, are people, or the teachings of Carl Jung, are people who have learned to be honest with themselves and be self-aware. All babies are psychopaths. Basically, the fundamental psychology of psychopaths is that they have an infantile worldview where they see everyone and everything as an extension of themselves. They don't differentiate between others and themselves. They see everybody as objects and not as people. And then all toddlers are narcissists. If you think about how a toddler acts, they're very selfish and they'll throw a tantrum if they don't get what they want. So all of that is just kind of some context. So then word salad is a phrase that I've heard from these guys in the behavior panel. And I've heard it, I think, on other, I'm pretty sure I've heard it on other channels that talk about narcissism. Another one I like a lot, I'll say like channels about narcissism. Channels about bullies, I'll say, because it's really the same thing. There's a guy named Richard Grannon. He's awesome. There's Dr. what's her name? Romani. And the other one I like is, I can't remember the other one, but so some of those guys have brought up word salad. This is a tactic. This is a tactic of abuse, a tactic of manipulation. So this sentence right here is an example of word salad. I'm going to catch up on the chat here. It's actually a few different companies. I don't use mail because the court system is auto notification. So I'm going to find out if Utah has auto notifications for that. You can log it. Tom Poco said this manual is really funny. That's what got me talking about word salad. You can log in and see all the documents filed in your case and modify them. The verbiage is interesting. Make a mistake, you can upload it. Did the BAM Ops manual get taken down? Hello, Lily Petal. Welcome to the chat. Yes, it got taken down, but not before I went and grabbed all of it. The only thing that I got all of it, but I'm going through and formatting, and I'm replicating the formatting from the manual as it was shared on that website. So there's just a couple of chapters where I'm gonna have to make up the formatting. Like I won't know where they put certain words in bold. I'll just have to do my best. But I copied the formatting on probably 85% of it, and now I'm just going through and touching up those other sections. But yes, the website for that, Lily Petal? Yeah, Lily Petal. The website for that was this one right here, BAM Ops Manual. I'll just go ahead and put this Discord link in the chat again. We only have a few people in that Discord server, so it's a small group. It's kind of like this chat today. It's just, but it's less active. But sometimes we'll get a conversation going between a couple or three of us. Really interesting conversations, though. I consider this chat to be very interesting, very insightful conversation, and that's the way it goes in that Discord channel too. So it's called Bench Evidence, which is kind of an abbreviation for Ben's Evidence, and the idea is, and there it is. That's the link. But the idea is to have it to be a source for people to help each other out, to help Ben out, to share ideas, to share insights, to share channels that are good, to share videos that are good, just whatever people want to share. It's an alternative to Reddit because I had a hard time finding people on Reddit. Oh, Barbecue Counselor apparently has a Discord channel. I bet that one's pretty active, so that's probably might even be a better resource if you're trying to get information, share information about Ben's case. The important part is you can see the filing fees and you can ask to have them waived if you are broke. Okay, I haven't paid any fees so far. If I just email them to the court here in Utah, they just file them. They weren't trying to charge me fees for that. I think what you have to do is pay fees to get access to get the filings, but not to put the filings in. I'm not sure here in Utah. Maybe I just got waived because they already knew that I qualified to get them waived. I'm not sure. They did that via Slack, but they can delete it if they have admin access. They did that via Slack. I'm not sure what they did. Oh, the word salad? We call that talking in circles. Yeah, talking in circles is a part. Yeah, that's an attribute of word salad. I call that mush mouth. Okay, I'm gonna put these down as equivalents. So, word salad is a manipulation tactic, and it's also called mush mouth or talking in circles. I save these, I write this stuff down or type it down and save it, because then I go back and I study these things and I memorize these vocabulary phrases. The trick, it turns out, for memorizing things is to test yourself. It's not just reading it over and over. That helps. Repetition helps. But the trick is repeat it a little bit and then look away, like don't have it visible, or wait an hour or wait 5 minutes and then try to see if you can remember it. The kids who learn to get good at memorization in elementary school are the kids who learn that to kind of push themselves and try to, if you're trying to memorize something, you'll automatically start testing yourself. If you want to memorize things, you'll find a way. But that's like the research says that that's what makes a difference. Like their mom. Oh, I don't know anything about their mom. Denataeus. That's an interesting comment, and it's probably true. My ex had NPD and BPD. She was on meds and thought she could live without them. Ooh, yeah. Ooh. And bipolar or borderline personality disorder. I think probably borderline personality disorder is what you're talking about. And that's serious stuff. Yeah, that Amber Heard is an interesting case. She's kind of like Ammon McNeff because she's fascinating. And she like really thinks she's getting away with it. So I don't know if you guys watched any of the Amber Heard coverage, but the behavior panel guys, they've done a bunch of videos on Amber Heard because she's just like a perfect example. She's like, they're like, oh look, here's another. Look at this. Look at this. Look at this. Hey, Rose Investigates. Good to see you. Wait, it seems to work if you type www before. I'll try that right now. Keister Bunny, wait. No, Rose Investigates, I think, is sending a message to Keister Bunny there saying, Rose, zzz. Hey, Rose, do you ever sleep? Oh, I get it. I get it. Okay, let's see if it works. Where is it? Probably here. Okay. So first I want to go to where I ran out of... Well, this is all the stuff I have saved in RAM. Okay, so now... Because I'm using the search history with Alt. If I hold down Alt and then hit the arrow keys, that'll go back and forward in my search history. So that's what I was doing there. Just going back and forward. So these are all saved in RAM for me. So I don't want to lose those right now in case there's anything I want to check up on. But now, here I am. www dot. Let's just do it like this. Let's see. Oh! What? How did that work? Whoa. Let's see if I can get into chapter 3. That'll be nice. Oh, yeah. You fixed it. Hey, way to go. Nice. Maybe this part didn't get taken down yet, and it will. Maybe this part won't get taken down. Now that's some helpful investigative work because I was missing these sections. And let me see if I can figure out what the other section is I'm missing. I'm trying to load them up right now in case it gets taken down. Here I can find it. Let's see. The wealthy man's version, well, not wealthy man, but normal version control is GitHub. But the poor man's version control is to put a number 1 or a number 2 or a number 3 at the end of the file name as you go. That's the poor man's version control. This is version 2 of this document for me. I might just change it to version 3 pretty soon just for safety's sake. Okay, so I'm going to find the section that was missing. It was like... It was down a ways. Page down. See, anything where I've got the tables all set up and everything, that's already been formatted. There's a section I'm missing. Here we go. Here it is. I didn't format it yet, and that lets me know what area it was. 10. Okay, so section 10 I'm missing. And hey, thanks Rose Investigates. That's super helpful. Can't imagine why it works with www, but I'm glad it does. So it's 10 and I think it's 12A is the other one I'm missing. Yeah, 12A. Okay. 10, 12A. Nice. Now I got those ones loaded in. Now I'm going to go back and just load them sequentially. So I'll just have all of them. So all I'm doing is I'm storing these to RAM in case this gets taken down. And it won't stay there forever. I'm still going to try to get this all wrapped up today or tomorrow. This will make it easier to find later. Have them all sequential. Oh, they've even got more. They've even got more. I was only up to 16. The part that we're all looking for, the part that we're all hoping for, is to see if there's anything in there that actually does say anything. Oh, and we're down to the appendix. We're looking to see if there's anything in there that actually says anything about consignment, right? That's the big question here. Now, this particular version, 10.6.24, I don't know what the actual release date of this was. There's table of contents at top and contents at the bottom. Let's see if that's, looks like it's the same thing. But I'll go ahead and I'll do it this way. Click on that one, and then this one, and then this one, and then this one. Oh, the table of contents is different. Let's see. Oh, look, that's nice. The table of contents has all the different subheadings as well. So this will be useful. I was going to create one of these using the built-in tools in LibreOffice, but this will be much easier for me. So that's helpful. Oh, that's great. Thank you, Rose Investigates. And it's all the way to the appendices. I've got it all saved in RAM here. I'll be working on this either late tonight or starting tomorrow. I've been working on all day. I've been working on gathering what I could from that I had saved in RAM for the formatting. So I'll show you guys now how I do this and what I'm thinking about. So I'm going to go back in my, like this. So let's go to 3, which is where I kind of left off. I think even 2. So what I've been doing all day today is I'll go through and look and see if there's any words in bold or italics. And if I find them, or any bullet points. Okay, here's one. Okay, 2.3, 5 main points of differentiation. There's some numbered sections. So I'm going to show you guys how I do this. So, all right, so go back up to 2. I'm gonna hide chat just for a second. I'll bring you guys right back and I'll catch up with you. 2.3, 5 main points of differentiation. So then I come in here and I look for 2.3. Okay, that one I already got. So it looks like I already did. Yeah, it looks like I already did chapter 2. So let's check chapter 3. Three dot 1.1 has a format. Here's one I missed. So for this particular type of thing where it's like a link or like a kind of a parenthetical note from the editor, then I've been formatting that one with character format link smaller. So it just makes it look different, so you can tell that it's something different. So then what I do is I keep going through and just looking to see. You must incorporate in your email signature the following. Okay, let's see if I got that one. Nope. So this is where I left off. And that one, let's see if this is going. Yeah, so I have a way to format that. I built in a tool so that instead of it just making that bold, it's actually going to make it into a character style bold. That just means I can go back and change those later without having to do them manually. Main email addresses. These I remember I went ahead and made a bullet point list even though I did not have access to the formatting, because I just could tell that that one was going to be a bullet point list. But I want to apply this as well, make them closer together. Hey, for anybody who's joining in, who's just joining in, let me show off the way that I figured out the tool that I made for these bullet points. I'll zoom in just so you can see better. So let's just say this section here was not bulleted, and I wanted to make it bullet points, but then I have to go in and manually adjust the position and change these numbers to get it all just lined up the way I want it. So now I set it up so I just press this button over here and it just automatically does it all for me. I'm very proud of that. Alright, now I'm going to check the chat again. Yeah, hey, thanks, Rose. Thanks, Rose Investigates. Don't know why that worked, but that's awesome. Rose, do you ever sleep? She was diagnosed in college at UT. This is Denateus is talking about an ex relationship. She was diagnosed in college at UTMB in Galveston, and she was super passive aggressive. Yeah, and that's what we're seeing here, passive aggressive. This phrase, I've known of the existence of this phrase passive aggressive for years, but just recently I've finally lined up the understanding that passive aggressive goes with bullies, which is to say narcissists, which is to say everyone to a small degree, but there's definitely people that are like okay, I'm on the spectrum of autism spectrum, but ever just so barely. I'm very, very, very super high functioning, to where barely qualifies as I really wouldn't say that I'm autistic. I would say I'm slightly on the spectrum as far as I can tell, and as far as everyone else can tell, or people who've seen some of my videos or seen my live stream, they're like, I don't want to offend you, but have you ever thought that you might be neurodivergent or neuroatypical? And I'm like, I'll tell you one thing I know. I know I'm not normal. I know that. But so anyway, with narcissism, it's there's some people who are clearly on the spectrum and like clearly have these behaviors. And what's really helpful to know also is that if someone is a psychopath, they're also a narcissist. So anyone who's further up the spectrum, and there's also different diagnostic criteria, but all these traits apply, and that phrase passive aggressive, it just makes everything so much more understandable. We also see societal narcissism, for example, mob violence. Here in Utah, especially within the LDS culture, we grew up learning about mob violence because an angry mob grabbed Joseph Smith and tarred and feathered him and marched him through the street naked and tarred and feathered. And then an angry mob on another occasion teamed up with the local law enforcement, made false accusations about Joseph Smith, got him arrested, and then came back, and the law enforcement got out of the way and let him come in and assassinate him. So I'm not saying whether or not you should have good or bad opinions about Joseph Smith, but this is a known thing that happens in society, and especially here in Utah, people ought to be cognizant of that, or at least know that there's such a thing as that. Well, when an angry mob forms and that groupthink takes hold, all these narcissistic traits come up within the group. They're all making false accusations about the target. And that word passive aggressive, it's just been so illuminating for me. And just in recent weeks, really, is when I've made the connection between passive aggressive behavior and narcissistic behavior. Keister Bunny, that's impressive. Thank you. Thank you. I'm using AutoHotkey, which is a programming language. It's available on PC only, not on Windows machines. And it's really helpful for automating keystrokes and automating data entry. In this case, I just used, basically this is what it says. So when I align the bullets, sleep, this just means I pause in between each step so that the computer doesn't go too fast, and while the word processor is pulling up the dialog box, I want to give it time to pull up. So any of these that say sleep, that's all it's doing. Then send F8, so it pushes F8 for me. Then send, in this case it's control page up, and then it sends the number that I want to type in there, 0.02. Then it's tab to get down through the dialog boxes, and then it puts in that number, anyway, that's how I did it. Is through, as you can see, it's not real complicated, but it takes time to set up, and it's always tricky to like figure it out. There's always weird things going on with it. So now we know the site is working. Save them as PDF files. Yes, that's what I'll be. Oh, you're saying save each of the individual pages as PDF files? I didn't think of that. I'm already far enough down. I'll probably save them as PDF files. Just the ones I haven't copied yet. Nobody created a searchable version of this site. This site is brand new. They barely just got. They only had like 5 sections at first. Then they had like 10. Then they had like 12. Last time I checked, it had 16. Now they've got all the way through like 21 plus the appendix. It came out a few days ago. It disappeared a few days ago. AutoHotkey is king. Okay, we got another AutoHotkey user. Cool. Rose Investigates. Glad to know that you know about that. Hadgespear in Germany also uses AutoHotkey. Tar and feathering is no joke. Yeah, that's some serious. That's like it like really burns the skin. Yeah, the feathers I don't think are such a problem. Like I wouldn't mind the feathers. It'd be the tar that I think would be the more upsetting of the whole upsetting part of the whole experience. There's a search bar if you go to the main page and scroll to the top, like they did with the Epstein stuff. This stuff is just coming out. And I think it's the BAM map who is also hosting this BAM Ops Manual site, but I'm not positive on that. You ever had somebody that took a portion of a conversation and runs away with it? They tend to slightly ruminate over and over in their head, and they act out on it. She wrote an entire diary of it. If you can get your hands on that diary and keep it, that's some useful research information. It'd be worth publishing if you're able to. I live in a house of autists, and I'm still impressed. Still impressed with autistic people? Still impressed to say that I might also be autistic, or impressed to say... I'm going to say either way, anyone should be impressed with my automatic bullet formatting. I'm impressed with it each time I do it. I'm so proud of that. Some guy on Reddit had the solution to just go through and just send the little... I mean, it's a very simple solution. It's not technically complicated. That's why I'm so proud of it, because it's like the simplest solutions a lot of times are the best ones. Usually in programming, people refactor and refactor and refactor and refactor to finally identify the simple solution. It takes a lot of time to find the simple solution often. With your work here. Oh, I think I know what you're saying. In other words, you know a lot of people who are also technical, very technical and very skilled. One thing about okay, I'll mention a few like savants, and I don't know if they were autistic or not, but people that were just crazy off the charts good at something. Mozart is an example for music, obviously, and piano. He actually they didn't have pianos yet when he was born. They had claviers and harpsichords, and pianos were just kind of coming out as he was growing up. But I'm pretty sure he was started on harpsichord. But regardless, he wasn't. Yeah, he was naturally good. He was obviously had a natural talent, but he practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced and practiced. And his father was a piano teacher. So it wasn't just that he was naturally able to do all that stuff. He naturally had an ability, but he practiced like crazy. Bobby Fischer is an even more clear example because we have more information about him because he's a more recent historical figure. The thing that made him so good at chess, besides being naturally good at chess, is that from a young age he loved this game, and he studied and studied and practiced and studied, and he read all the chess books. He learned all the chess notations, like bishop to b4 and pawn to a6 and all that stuff. And he could just read, not initially, he didn't just naturally have this ability, but just from so much practice. And I think a lot of people who are really good at chess can do this now, where they can just read all the letters of, bishop, king to square a7 or whatever, and he could just see a list like that and know the whole game and know everything that happened. And it's the fact that, and so people with autism, and it's more, you can kind of notice it more for people who would qualify as having Asperger's syndrome, for example, that they'll really fixate on something and start just creating lists of, like, I knew a kid, he would just make lists of the names of movies. He was just obsessed with the names of all the movies that were on the billboards and all the movies that were coming out, and just learned everything about the names of the titles of movies, what the movies were about, who the people were that were in the movie. He invested time into this interest. So someone who didn't know that could meet him and say, wow, this kid, how did he know all this stuff about movies? Just like automatically memorized it all. But no, he also invested time into that. That's a new insight for me, something I didn't realize. I thought Bobby Fischer just naturally was good at chess and he didn't even have to put any effort into it. No, it turns out he did put effort. Maybe it didn't feel like effort. He was having fun, but he put time. He invested time into it. And a lot of times it did feel like effort. And I watched videos about him and found out that like he would train physically just so that when he'd be in a chess match, he wouldn't get tired from sitting in the chair all that time and just being focused on the moves all that time. It was physically demanding for him as well. Each person is very unique and very different. Each person with autism is very different. Yeah. There's no one way of being autistic. Not at all. And I I guess like I feel like I've known and met so many people with autism. I was really good friends with a coworker, and her sister is autistic and nonverbal autistic. And so I mostly heard about this sister. I got to meet her a few times. But so, like, I kind of hesitate to use that term for myself because I think I want to reserve that for people who, genuinely qualify and genuinely. I guess I do have, I'm going to say people who genuinely have social difficulties. I do have social difficulties, but my main social difficulty is that I assert my rights and I'm not willing to give up my rights, and people get angry and offended and they want to force me to give up my rights. And part of the thing is that if I were a bully, if I were an aggressive person, then they wouldn't feel like they could just violate my rights, but because I try to be polite and considerate to other people, then they assume that I'm an easy target, and so then when I assert my rights, they get upset at me. Maybe they're like that to other bullies as well, but I don't feel like that's the way that it is. Okay, I've caught up on all the chat. Let's see. Okay, this one. So this is an interesting one, and we were talking about word salad earlier too. I want to get back to that. Once I found this extra information, I wanted to get it stored in RAM right away. Let's see if I can find that word salad again. I think it was in section 5. It was just a fun example. There it is, section 4.5.1. Okay, so I'm going to leave that pulled up so we can talk about that. And this is relevant to Denataeus' remark. If you ever had somebody that took a portion of a conversation and ran away with it, like ChatGPT, for example, it'll just start making stuff up about what I said. It'll be like, "Oh, it seems like you're da da da," and I don't give it a chance. I'm like, "No, that's not what I said. Don't put words in my mouth." But if I don't say that, like I'll open up another chat and just kind of let it run with the conversation. Keep saying, "Yeah, tell me more. What do you think about this?" It'll just go all over the place. And word salad. So I have an ex who I think would probably fall into the category of narcissist, but maybe not as severe as other cases, more of a moderate kind of case. But she would have a whole entire argument with herself for an entire week. But she was arguing with me the entire week, and I didn't even know about it. Like, I was going about my day, making dinner, whatever, taking care of things, doing this and that. And I didn't even know that she was angry at me that entire week. But it was like there was this whole entire dialogue that was happening between the two of us that week. I didn't mind. I was like, oh, like we're not talking that much. I'm great. I've got time to work on other things. I didn't realize that she was like trying to ignore me and trying to act angry at me and taking out her aggression on me for an entire week, and I didn't even realize it. Definitely part of what narcissists do is to put words into another person's mouth and accuse the person of saying or doing something they didn't do. And the research shows, and the behavior panel videos have confirmed to me that this is true, that so often whatever it is they're accusing the other person of is projection, and it's exactly what they're doing. They'll say, why are you being, or they won't say why, but they'll accuse you of being argumentative. They'll be getting all angry. They'll be like yelling or raising their voice. And not always, but some of the I am learning to be less emotionally reactive. But they'll like rage bait a person, and I've always fallen for that in the past, so I'm trying to learn not to succumb to rage baiting. But they'll accuse the other person of being unreasonable or of getting angry or starting an argument when it's just the opposite. Word salad is one of the tactics that relates to this, and we're kind of broadening the discussion around that, but word salad is one of those. Also known as mush mouth, as who was it that mentioned that? Tom Poco mentioned it, also known as mush mouth. 100%. 100% each. I think what you're saying is that each autistic person is different, and there's no one way to be autistic. I think that's what you're saying there. ChatGPT will try and take what you say and then go off on a tangent. I have people accusing me of arguing for just describing reality. That's it. The fact that I can assert, I will be like, no, these are the actual facts. Here's a video of it. And they'll accuse me of arguing for just saying, no, this is actually like the way it is. They will say something, and then 2 minutes later, 20 seconds later, they'll deny having said it, because it doesn't suit the argument that they're making 20 seconds later. And they'll say, no, I didn't say that, I said this. I've spent 49 years, maybe not quite that much, 48 and a half years being infuriated about this. I guess maybe in my early childhood that doesn't count too, but I'll say 45 years being infuriated about this stuff. And now, just finally, during the last year, I've finally begun to learn these patterns. Just like the pattern that Deniteus just identified. That they accuse a person of arguing for just describing reality. And now I'm finally learning to not be so emotionally reactive about it, and from Chase Hughes is who I learned this from. It was just this one video that I saw that just really kind of helped everything start to fall into place for me, so that I'm starting to be less emotionally reactive. Oh, it was about the gaslighting. Okay. Okay, yeah. And yeah, I think it seems that I'm not the only person who's been noticing this stuff. Deniteus has noticed it. Keister Bunny has noticed it. And so, and it's called, the word for it is shared fantasy. And so the narcissist has a narrative that they want to force onto everybody and create a shared fantasy within the group. And so they recruit other people and turn these other people into like mini narcissists. And it's the main guy. His videos are less entertaining, but the main guy, who's a kind of like the authority on all this stuff, is Dr. Vaknin. And he's super academic. He is a self-diagnosed narcissist and if I understand correctly, also psychopath. But I'm not positive about that. But he's definitely a self-diagnosed narcissist, and so he has extra insights into the study of narcissism. And his there it is, there it is. Keister Bunny said it. Flying monkeys. That's it. So the mini narcissists are flying monkeys, and Dr. Vaknin coined that phrase. And so the shared reality is the false narrative that they're trying to force on everybody. And they get people to believe it. That's the crazy part. They get people to buy into this shared fantasy. And that's how they create a mob. They create a groupthink situation, and then they attack people. Not always. They don't always attack people. Steve Jobs was almost certainly a narcissist, and his coworkers described what was it? Steve Jobs not alternate universe. They had a phrase for it, but he would basically take credit for everybody else's ideas by projecting this what we now understand to be shared fantasies or false reality. Just for describing reality, because it's a threat to their narrative. And Ammon McNeff is a good example of somebody who does not want to accept the truth, doesn't want to hear the truth, doesn't want the truth to be available. These concepts make so much sense in relationship to Ammon McNeff. Ammon McNeff is a special kind of villain. Some villains are just so detestable. Ammon McNeff is super detestable. He's evil, but he's so interesting. And so I'm comparing him now to Darth Vader. Darth Vader is a fascinating character. Very evil, but interesting. I think Amber Heard gave us, the community, a lot of reference points for what narcissism looks like. And I think Ammon McNeff even more so. He just puts it all out on display. Just shameless. Just shameless. Ooh, ringleader mentality. I'm going to put that one in here. Ringleader mentality. Yeah. Very, very true. I'd not identified that phrase with this body of thought. That's because Apple was a cult. There are a lot of cults in California for that reason. They work like MLMs, like Herbalife. Man, it's so true. I take notes. Guys, I'm a note taker. I studied print journalism in college. And actually, just a little bit before I went to college, it must have been right during my freshman year, I started keeping a little like pocket-sized notebook with me, and I'd take it everywhere I went. I'd just write down quotes, things I heard people say and stuff. Let's see if I spelled this right. Denatatus. Okay. Hello world. Hey, Warren Paul. Hey, welcome to the chat. We're talking about how Ammon McNeff fits so many criteria of narcissism, and we just got on a comparison with Steve Jobs, and the insight is Apple was a cult, which is certainly true. Certainly true. The cult leader, Steve Jobs was the cult leader. A cult. So there's a, gosh, I wish I could remember this guy's name, but anyway, the narcissist mentality creates a cult around them, whether or not it's an actual religious cult. And so if there's a narcissistic figure in a family, such as a narcissistic father or a narcissistic mother, then the family develops a cult aspect where that one person kind of makes themselves to be the cult leader for the family. Blake Anderson, there we go. Just saying that right now, then I was able to remember his name because he's the guy that explained that stuff to me on his channel. So Blake Anderson, he talks a lot about the family dynamics of narcissism. Oh, how is it? Something like that. Narcissism. I think that's spelled correctly. There's no spell check on Notepad. I'm so Keister Bunny says I'm so Cal raised and I still live here. I understand the California culture mindset. You know, I lived in California from the age of 10, basically 9.5, 10 until 20, essentially, those 10 years. I'm trying to think if I saw any cult-like systems in California beyond those that exist elsewhere. I would have to think about it, but a lot of like yoga groups get kind of culty. And even if they're like, I guess they tend to be kind of spiritual, so I guess it makes sense they'd have kind of like a cult-like feeling to them. I'd be interested to hear examples of different cult-like groups. Oh, I'll tell you guys one. Occupy, you remember the Occupy movement, Occupy Wall Street, and then people were occupying all these different cities. So my brother participated in Occupy Los Angeles, and he was actually there when the police came in and arrested everybody. And he had long hair and he buzzed his whole head just as like an express. He was just like an impulse that he had as an expression of how he felt about the situation. And then he got arrested. And they were like arresting lots of people and putting them in vans. Anyway, what he told me about, and he had observed this before that, but he still stuck through it for that moment. But the Occupy groups were cult-like. And they would have all these like specific things they would do. Like there's a thing called like, I think they call it a hard X or hard stop. But if you're talking with people and you disagree with somebody and you just had enough of it, then you do like a hard stop. I think it's like this, a hard stop, and then that means we're not talking anymore. And there was a lot of infighting. Why would there be such heated arguments when all these people are joining together to make a protest against injustice, and they're all, protesting by occupying this area? Why would these people be getting into heated arguments if they're all on the same team, right? But there's all this infighting, and it usually has to do with social hierarchy and who can seem like they're the most, it's not just knowledgeable, but like the most influential. And they're usually having kind of more extreme views. Like someone who's like a little more moderate in their thinking isn't going to rise up the hierarchy as much as someone who has a little bit stronger views about something. Is what we see in partisan politics, right? The primary cycles. So in the primaries, we always get the most outlandish ideas, and then when it's time for general election, the politicians walk back those ideas a bit. You want to read something crazy? Google the Korean cult that infiltrated the Japanese government for years. The Unification Church. I've heard of that, and that's as much as I've heard. Is there's a Korean cult called the Unification Church. Did not know they infiltrated the Japanese government. These Japanese cults even made anime. Mother's Basement. Okay, Unification Church, Mother's Basement. I got a place for that. Let's see what ChatGPT version 5.4 can tell me about this. I think that's the version DuckDuckGo uses. Oh, I've been trying to not use... Okay, that'll get me close enough. Come back to that. You had to see how Hollywood operates. Ding! Speaking of California cults, Mother's Basement has a video covering the Mother's movies made by the cult that dropped the sarin gas in the trash cans. Okay, so Mother's Basement would be a channel, I think. Save it like that. You know, Tim Pool was there recording everything crazy going on at Occupy Wall Street. People were getting paid to protest even back then. They had small groups assigned jobs. I'm not familiar with the name Tim Pool. That one, yeah, I don't know who that is. Just pop it in here. Right-wing social media influencer. Okay. 1986. Yeah, so he would have been the perfect age for Occupy Wall Street. It was like he would have been young. He would have been a little bit on the young side for Occupy Wall Street, but definitely just like all those people. Occupy Wall Street was primarily people born. No, he was like right in the middle of it. Like people born from the 80s to the 90s. There were some people from the 70s, but mostly in the 80s. I have some crazy stories from San Diego. Heaven's Gate. Oh, you guys, you know what I want to do? I've been forgetting to do it, and it's not urgent, but what I want to do is open it up so that people can call in on Discord, because we can do there's like a voice lobby on Discord, so that if people want to call in and share stories, then I'll get Discord going on my phone and have it over here by the microphone. So if you guys want to be on the eagleDog live show, then that's something I'm planning for the future to get call in. But it's not going to be like call in and ask a question. It's going to be like call in and have a conversation and share stories. I don't know if any of you have ever listened to Coast to Coast. It's on the radio like in the middle of the night. I've heard it a bunch of times when I'm on a big long road trip driving through the middle of nowhere at like 2 in the morning. He's a guy who his whole thing is like alien extraterrestrial experiences and like people who have like been out of body and like people who have died and come back to life, but a lot of extraterrestrial encounters. People call in on that show and he's not like, okay, what's your question? Okay, goodbye. He'll just listen to them. He'll ask them, questions to describe what they saw, what color was the being, like what texture was the skin on the being that they saw, all these kind of details. And so that's the kind of call-ins that we're going to be doing on the eagleDog show sometime in the future. But But my plan is to use Discord to facilitate that people can get on there and be able to talk here on the live streams. Heaven's Gate, San Diego. He used drones to record video and stream it online. Well, that would have been a great way to get a start. If maybe he was just, I don't know how many subscribers he had back then, but that would have been a perfect way to get subscribers, especially if he was taking a right wing angle on it. You know, a lot of people would probably be interested to hear his commentary about that. Oh, the UFO religion that did a mass suicide in 1977. Wow, yeah. And they were waiting for Jesus and the angels to come and get him, and I think there was like a specific like nebula within the Milky Way galaxy, and they would like, this might be a different UFO cult, but I saw a video where like the people are like they're there at church and they're watching this like video of like the stuff that I like to look at, like Hubble telescope image type stuff, but the people are all cheering and getting all excited when the guy's talking about how the angel. Uh-oh. What? Okay, I think I lost connection there for a minute, and now it says it reconnected. Aum Shinriko Doomsday Cult is the Japanese cult that killed people. Art Bell. Okay, I'm not going to be able to look up all of these. I'm just going to try to memorize them right now. Art Bell. Art Bell I do want. That's the one that was like one of my favorite videos. Art Bell UFO cult. Yeah, I would just want to watch that video. Like, there's certain videos that I just go back to from time to time because they're so much fun. And I lost track of that video, but if I can find it on YouTube. It just made my day whenever I first saw that video. Let's see if I can find it. Probably not. I'll be able to find it another day. Aum Shinrikyo. Watch the helicopters circle over Heaven's Gate Mansion the day the members were found. Oh, man. The sky was completely cloudy except over the house where the sun beamed down on it. Wow, I wonder... Oh, good, we're back. Okay, glad we're back. Thanks, Warren Paul. So, I wonder if the helicopters, all the helicopters, would have dissipated the clouds, or there's actually happened to be just a break in the clouds that day. That's called synchronicity. Synchronicity is coincidences that are just magical. Just like, it doesn't count as a coincidence, but it doesn't necessarily count as a miracle depending on how you believe. So if you're a secularist, or the way I would describe myself is neutral party. I don't want to get into it. So I use synchronicity to describe just amazing circumstances. Oh, coast to coast. Oh, Art Bell is coast to coast. Okay. Oh. No, yeah, I know. Okay, coast to coast. I can turn on the radio at like in the middle of the night anytime, and I can find that guy. He's great. I love that guy because the thing I like about him is when people call in, he really listens to them and takes time to let them share their stories. I'm not I'm don't here. I'll go right ahead and tell you guys I'm not a believer in UFOs, but I love hearing that channel because the it's just so refreshing the way Art Bell talks to people. I really like that guy. I was 16 years old and had no idea what was going on. Was visiting a friend and couldn't explain it all. Learned what happened years later. Wow. It is interesting some of the things from childhood or from teenagehood or even from adulthood, but especially from childhood, where it only starts to make sense so many years later. Okay, at least Keister Bunny doesn't believe in UFOs either, so at least I've not offended Keister Bunny. Denateus is all pissed off now because I said I don't believe in UFOs. Not really, just joking. Okay, the time is 1:21 a.m. in Utah. I don't have to be anywhere tomorrow morning. I'm gonna check. I think it's mostly the group of us hanging out. The main reason I do these streams is to hang out and talk to people and communicate. Um, so you don't see me checking to see how many people are viewing the stream right now. I haven't figured out an easy way to do that, but I do know a way to do it. It's just not a priority. I'm mostly just going with the stream. Denateus is in Houston. Okay, so it's like 2:30 there. I got one of my best friends is in Katy, Texas, by the way. I have a way to check. Let's see. There we go. My internet is... Oh, it's probably because I'm streaming, actually. Okay, here we go. It says 5 watching. Yeah, so he's got a nice little group of people. And those numbers aren't always right. They're not always... Especially for a smaller group here. It says 6 watching now. So it just lets me know that in addition to those of us that are talking here, there probably a couple of people are just hanging out, and it's always glad you guys are hanging out, and no obligation to join the chat. So I hope you're... Let's see. If I pause this, I think it'll still kind of let me know if people are watching. So basically what I don't want to do is just like abruptly end the live stream if people are getting some value out of it. And I'm like kind of ready to take a break though. So Katie's on the west side, so you'd be over on the east side then if you're on the other side of town. I don't know, Denateus, if you followed that musician David D4VD and that case. I was pretty interested in that. Because I'd never heard of the guy until the news came out about Celeste Rivas, but once I heard about the case, I was like, no, he can't be guilty because his music, I just loved his music. Like as soon as I heard about the case, I checked out his music, and I was like, he can't be guilty. His music is so beautiful. It's just so unique. Is what I found his music to be, very unique. And now, within a month, it was like pretty clear it was obviously him, and now it's overwhelmingly obvious. Yeah, the Tesla. Yeah, that's it. But so he's from West Houston. So I was like, man, if I lived in Houston, I'd go around and like try to investigate some of that stuff. Oh yeah, Keister Bunny's in California, so it's 12:23. Um, so I'm definitely ready for a break, but what I'll do is I'll just reinvigorate myself with what we'll do is we'll take a break from today's unofficial non-sponsor. Today's live stream is not sponsored by Homemade Gatorade. That's right, you can buy Gatorade in the powdered form and make it yourself at home. That way you can make it a little bit stronger, a little bit more potent. Tastes like Gatorade. I wouldn't say like refreshing, especially because it's not like cold. It's just been sitting there, but I I I've been drinking a lot of Gatorade lately. And that was our break from our unofficial non-sponsor. Oh, late afternoon for Warren Paul. Warren Paul's in. I think he might have told us last time, Warren Paul, but I'm not sure. That might have been someone else. Maybe UK. I might be remembering wrong. Dr. Pepper is the drink of choice. That is a good one. My father swears by Dr. Pepper. Ah, Australia. Australia, Warren Paul. See, so I study things. You know, in high school, I used to study the yearbook to learn everybody's names. And I'll come back and study these things. I put it down at the bottom so I'm not like doxing people on future streams. I don't think it's the kind of things that you guys would be worried about, but just in case, keep it down there at the bottom. Canberra. I have no idea where Canberra is. Oh, I have a brother living in Australia right now. He just moved over there from New Zealand. I have siblings in New Zealand. There's a lot of mining industry in Australia, but I have no idea if Canberra is near any of the mines or in a different part of the country. I will find out though. I'll know before my next stream. Okay, so it sounds like people are totally cool with me moving on with my evening and calling it a night. I do want to just circle back to word salad. Just make some final points about word salad. And it was I think it was Tom that mentioned this interesting verbiage. What is it? Tom Poco, yeah. I just finally figured that out. Tom Poco means not either in Spanish. That's a good one. But it's spelled different. It's spelled I don't know where Tom Poco is from, but it's spelled like this. Tampoco. Yo tampoco. Me neither. But then he spelled his name like that. So this one, I'll study this just so in the future I don't have to go back and look up and try to remember the specific name. But so anyway, Tom Poco made the point about the weird, a lot of weird verbiage in this document, and I just found one earlier. Another resource of theirs is the marketing approvals, where you send any marketing materials you plan to implement with your store. where you send any marketing materials you plan to implement with your stores. So another way they could have said that is the marketing team will approve. I mean, there's a lot of ways they could have said this, but it's not terrible wording, but it's not good. It's not easy to understand. It's not great writing. So this, I guess I'd say, is borderline word salad. Regardless of this particular part of this document, really what I just wanted to say is this is one of the tactics of narcissism, and it's just so on display with Ammon McNeff. That's what I've been wanting to say. Ammon McNeff is the word salad king. And he is just also, he was under a lot of stress, which makes it easier to use word salad, or a person's more likely to get making sentences that don't quite fit together totally. Certainly doing a live stream or being up in front of a group, doing a corporate training seminar, one gets into a situation where they're trying to say something, but they want to sound like they know what they're talking about, but they kind of got 3/4 of a way through a sentence and they're just trying to put the sentence together. And you'll hear phrases like, and things like that, and stuff, and all those types of things, and those types of things, and things like that, and those types of things. A lot of phrases like that from Ammon McNeff. So that's kind of the thought that popped into my head from Tom Poco's comment earlier, and I've just finally circled around and finished that thought. I think that's going to finish up. I'm going to just review the document real quick one more time before we close up, and I'll check if there's any more comments in the chat. I am closing down for the night. It's been so much fun. Fun, not in the way of like, I guess kind of, yeah, it is like a party for me actually. An intellectual party. I enjoy, for me, what's fun is to hang out with smart friends, people who are interested in understanding a topic and not jumping to conclusions. My best buddy in Houston, and Katie, that's what's so fun about talking to him. Well, he's also like has this like a very active sense of humor, but it's like he's always noticing things that other people don't know and finding, or that other people don't notice, and finding humor and just these interesting observations. It's just so much fun talking to that guy. He's really keen. He's really smart. He's insightful, but he's always making jokes. Anyway, I've for me, it's just been a lot of fun. It actually has. This for me has been a blast. But not fun like it's not like I'm trying to think of something that might be more of the traditional definition of fun. Yeah, like going to a club and dancing and everybody's like drinking, there's loud music and stuff. That's fun too. That's fun. I'm a party animal, but this has been just an awesome party for me, and these topics of conversation and hearing your guys' comments, I love it. It's especially for me is very like satisfying to hear all the similar observations about narcissism and about the way that people act, and the way that one of the comments from Denateus was that this woman would, or just people in general, the comment was about that they'll say you're arguing because you're just stating reality, and they consider that to be an argument. I had an experience just like that. Should I show you guys? This is like really fresh on my mind. This is a forensic. This is a forensic psychologist who I met with for one of my cases. This is our first time meeting.
Offended to do it, but how does it serve you? The question really is, why would you be offended by somebody asserting their rights? I'm not offended, I'm asking. Well, you said I was argumentative and I wasn't providing information. I'm trying to understand why you choose to assert the rights that you do. That's a fair question. Yeah, I mean, but the manner, especially earlier, that you said that I was being argumentative because I didn't provide my social security number, indicates that you're trying to push me to abandon my rights. No, you have rights. Okay. Then why are you trying to keep pushing me to abandon my rights? I'm not trying to push you, I'm trying to understand you, and that's fair. That's what this meeting is for. Uh-huh.
Anyway, that's I just took that video yesterday. And hearing you guys identify some of these things kind of makes me feel like, okay, there are other people in the world who recognize these patterns, and I saw that pattern in this meeting. I don't know if you could hear it very well. You probably couldn't see it very well. That'll go up on the channel sometime. It's not something I'm going to upload anytime soon, I don't think, but I'm glad to be able to share that with you briefly. I'm going to do a quick review of the document and then check the chat, and then we'll be done. So first I'm going to take out this bold. Oh no. Okay, I know what I can do. See, because I just put that in bold just for the sake of discussion here. But I accidentally made it into a paragraph style. No, a character style. There we go. There we go. Anytime I'm wrapping up, I make sure to remember to save. I'm always trying to save as I go. That's important. Zoom out. In fact, actually, while I'm thinking of it, I'll do Control-Shift-S, or in Microsoft Word, it would be F12 for save as. I'm just going to save this now as BAM Ops Manual 3 in the same folder it was in before and everything. So now, if I accidentally delete a bunch of stuff, or if I accidentally mess something up, now I've got that older version, version 2, that I can always roll back to. Poor man's version control. I'm going to zoom out and just take a look at it and see if there's anything that pops out at me right now that's significant. I don't think there's anything major that I wanted to cover that I haven't talked about. I was so excited to show off my bullet formatting trick. I'll be showing that off a lot in the future too. Okay, so it's saved and resaved, so it's safe. I'm going to be collecting all those other sections that I found thanks to Rose Investigates, introducing the www trick. Who knows why or how that worked. I'm probably, yeah, I'm going to actually, after I finish this stream, I'm going to go and grab all that stuff. Either save it to PDF as Deniteus suggested, or copy and paste it to this document, but I'm not going to risk losing that stuff. And now I'm going to check the chat, and then I'm going to say goodnight. Hey, it's been nice hanging out, Keister Bunny. Thanks for being here tonight. Deniteus, First time that I've noticed you on the chat. I might have seen you in the comments before. There's been a lot of comments to keep track of. Autism Party. There's so many parallels, and I keep finding that the people that I'm meeting in the just because I chat, Discord, comments. I've connected with some people on email as well, and it's all people that are like high functioning. Not all, many of the people that I've connected with are high functioning autistic. And one of the guys, what he told me in email is that it's kind of an invisible group because it's not as noticeable, but they still have all these unique characteristics and many characteristics in common, as well as a broad diversity of interests. A lot of musicians, a lot of accountants, a lot of people who are interested in investigatory work. One thing about autism is that people with autism tend to take words literally, and that's not all people with autism, and it's to varying degrees, but certainly for me, I have always been a literalist. I've always believed that words have literal meanings. Not that we should always force everyone to use words according to their literal meanings, but we should at least recognize that the words people say have literal meanings. And I've always felt that way, and I've often taken words literally, and then people laugh because it's like, hey, don't you get it? It's a joke. That happens to everybody, but maybe a little more often to me than to others. I'm different. And it's nice to feel like I'm not totally alone in the world, and I'm just barely starting to feel that way. So thank you, you guys. Denateus on Discord. Oh, you do 3D printing. Cool. I did a little bit of 3D printing several years ago. Then I got working on this fixer-upper project. So the 3D printer's down in the basement. But yeah, hope to see you on. Oh, I could friend you on Discord too. I'm eagleDog. I think eagleDog 4. Yeah, I'm eagleDog 4 on Discord. We'll link up. Autism Party. Let's see, I'm missing something here. Headache break for Keister, no problem. We're wrapping up here. Let's see. It's like someone else wrote it in third person. Yeah. Yeah. I'm going to keep my eye out now based on our conversation here tonight, but I'm going to be looking for more instances of weird paragraphs and weird words. Ammon is one part of that company that tells people how to legally cheat other people. Remember, they like to scare people into thinking they're going to be sued into oblivion, so they back down. Yep. That conversation was like my work meeting with HR where they were trying to gaslight me. Okay, so you were able to hear that. Cool, that's nice to know. Yeah, so there's a lot of people who talk that way, and HR is like one of the common areas where people talk that way. And gaslighting. Yeah, these gaslighting tactics. Gaslighting is a word that has existed for a while, but it just came into the vernacular. And it turns out that it is a central component of narcissistic behavior. They is used everywhere. The owner is not obvious. That is, who is they? Okay, another good insight that I'll keep in mind as I'm reading this stuff. Good night. Good night, Warren Paul. Okay, you're back, Keister Bunny. Yep, we're finishing up. We're calling it a night. And ooh, got the correct spelling. Nice correction there. Another grammatarian, I see. I have some meeting recordings to share when they talk to me as if I made everything up. made up everything they told me to do. So good to have recordings. Glad you brought that up. Normally, I don't get video of a meeting like that. Normally, I just record audio because people really get on guard when you start recording video. In this meeting, I started recording audio, and then after the meeting was probably 2/3 of the way through, I saw this woman's face getting like more and more scrunched up, and she was getting kind of worked up, and so then I started recording video because I wanted to. I didn't quite get the weird faces she was making, but I got a lot of them. I didn't get the most intense part, but I got the second most intense part. Anyway, what I recommend, especially to people who are not experienced with going around and like doing First Amendment audits of police, for example, if you're in a business or a workplace or somewhere where you feel like someone might be trying to take advantage of you, or just the HR meeting you're talking about, Denateus, and might relate to this because it's not that the thing that caused her to get angry is because I asserted a basic right, like a very simple, obvious basic right, and she got frustrated about that, and then she kept expressing frustration about that throughout the conversation. She really wanted my social security number, and even though at the very beginning I was like, no, I'm not going to give it to you and forget about it, and she was like, okay, that's fine, but then she kept bringing it up, and she said I was being argumentative because I didn't provide my social security number. Anyway, I got all the audio and everything. Denateus, I will love to share notes, share recordings, be able to it's like teamwork, just to be able to have other people that can see evidence and share evidence with each other of similar patterns of behavior, similar experiences, and this guy Ammon McNeff, he kind of has helped to for me to be able to meet Denateus and Keister Bunny and the rest of you guys, Warren Paul. So it's nice to have a really, really clear, what's the word? Microcosm? No. Exemplar? Epitome? That's something for y'all to think about. What would be the word to describe what Ammon McNeff is with relationship to narcissists? Epitome? I think there's quite a quintessential. For next time, for future conversations. It's called corporate slavery. They want to treat you like they own you. Yeah, and it's when someone asserts their rights, a very basic right, or they just ask for like a document that they're entitled to receive or whatever it may be. These people get really like hussy and fussy. They get really fussy. But then they'll use this passive aggressive tone. That's a word that applies to this woman. After I kind of talked about the fact that she seemed to be getting angry, then she's like, no, no. And then she started talking in this really like kind of overly, kind of like almost like just like a very fake tone. And like, oh, okay, so then I hope you have a night. I'd have to practice to replicate it. That's not exactly what it was like, but passive aggressive tone. These are patterns. I try to catch my own typos as much as I can, using readback once I post my comment. Man, and you're really on it to be using those different tools and to be able to catch that like that. So I'm the same way. I try to catch my errors. I try to correct as I go. I got so many things to say on this topic, but I got to roll along. So I know it's one that I will return to in the future. I'll just give you the key phrase for it is inhibited reality testing. And inhibited reality inhibited reality testing as narcissistic inhibited reality testing, which is another concept presented by Dr. Vaknin. And AI hallucinations are an example of inhibited reality testing. AI hallucinations are an example of narcissistic inhibited reality testing. Reference Denateus, that's a good one. All right, that's going into the notes. Let's see, we'll put it right where? Right here. Quintessential reference point. Okay, I will continue brainstorming words into the future for that. Hey, thanks everyone. Thanks for hanging out. I'm going to call it a night. My name is Matthew. It's been a pleasure, and I will see you guys. Well, I hope to see you guys. I hope to see you guys again. Warren Paul, Denateus, Keister Bunny, Rose Investigates popped in. I think she had other stuff to do. I think she kind of pops in and out. And Social Butterfly. Oh, we got it. I got an emoji. Hey, thanks guys. School Marm? I can't tell what letter that is. School Marm. I don't know what Marm is. I've watched his content for years. Okay, so you know Sam Vaknin. HG Tutor is another content creator who has info for action from the perspective of the narc. Okay, so another guy who knows that. Thank you so much for your time and wisdom. Hey, thanks, Keister. That's a nice thing to say. Definitely my time. Really, you guys are giving me your time, and I guess it goes both ways, but I felt so alone for so long, and so I appreciate you guys hanging out with me. HG Tutor, I'm going to write down. Here we go. Get some sleep. Yep. It's bedtime for some of us, and with that, we're out of here. Bye. See ya. Oh wait. Yep.